Hello everyone. I welcome to the studio here today Miss Debbie Dokas, General Manager of Apex Debt Management, who comes to us with an awareness campaign to help the Russian community in dealing with the second devastating pandemic crippling Canada today, and that is debt. Hi Debbie.
Hi Maxim, thank you very much for having me here. First of all, thank you for recognizing that the Russian community today and all other communities in Canada are indeed suffering heavily from the effects of COVID and are struggling with debt. And secondly, thank you for helping me to raise awareness for all those people that there are options out there for them. There are government programs designed to forgive and eliminate those debts while maintaining their assets and giving them the chance to get back on their feet again.
Indeed, our community is suffering from debt's catastrophic grip, particularly due to COVID. Tell us a little of how you witness financial problems affecting people now.
That's a good question. Unfortunately, I bear witness every day to the devastating effects that stress has on people. Heart attacks, strokes, separations, divorce, depression, anxiety, drug and alcohol abuse, just to name a few. It's devastating. Professionals are linking these alarming rates due to financial stress. You see, in this country, it's very easy to get into debt because it's very easy to borrow the money. Unlike back home, all you need is a pulse to borrow money. The banks, the credit card companies, they all line up to give you money and you find yourself in debt. And then when COVID hits and people find themselves with lowered incomes or complete loss of income, now they have to borrow more just to survive. And that's when the trouble starts, because then they stop lending money, they're in serious amounts of debt, the creditors are calling, and they're facing bankruptcy. But especially for Russian people, they are a proud people, and to go bankrupt is the ultimate shame. I get it. I too was raised the same way. Admitting that you have a debt problem is as bad as saying that you have a drinking and a gambling problem. Ya Makedonets, ya Horisho Ponimayo. It's shame.
So Debbie, what then is your message to my Russian people here today? How can you help them?
My message here today, Maxim, is that I have programs that will eliminate and forgive those debts that are stressing people. People need to leave a legacy for their family. The only thing people should be worried about is taking care of their family, their loved ones, and their children. And they worry that when they go bankrupt and they lose it all, they have no more legacy, they lose their family and they lose their loved ones. We can help. The Canadian federal government has created economic stimulus programs for everyone that will eliminate and forgive their debts without losing their assets. You see, the government doesn't want people and businesses going bankrupt. When people go bankrupt, they stop spending. When businesses go bankrupt, they stop hiring people. The problem is, especially for immigrants, that they are completely unaware of these programs and don't know that they have this help available to them and just suffer in silence because that's shame again. So my mission here today, with your help, Maxim, is to raise awareness to these people that they do have help available to them through federal legislation.
So Debbie, you are telling that when people or businesses are drowning in debt, you can use government programs to eliminate or forgive the debt. But isn't it actually the same that trustees in bankruptcy do?
Absolutely not. We are nothing like trustees in bankruptcy. They cannot represent you because they are mandated by law to actually represent the creditors. Their job is to collect as much money from their clients for the creditors as possible. But you have to think of it this way. When you look at what happens to the average person when they're willing to go bankrupt, they stop contributing to the economy. Not only that, all of those other things that we just talked about begins to happen. They get sick physically and mentally. Then they lose the ability to work and so on. It's a domino effect. Then the government has to step in to help them in other ways. Things like employment insurance, disability programs, mental health programs. And when you look at the overall cost of that, it far outweighs the cost of forgiving a little bit of debt.
Wow. I had no idea that trustees do not work with the debtors. This all makes sense now. Can you please tell me, Debbie, what do people do when they find themselves in a serious financial trouble? Who do they call?
That part's easy, Maxim. They just call me. The process is completely confidential. I only need their first name. Once I can speak with them, I can run the diagnostics to see if they qualify for the program. There is absolutely no charge for this service. It's purely informative, because that way they can find if they do qualify and they can make a better informed decision down the road. Unfortunately, Maxim, this is something that people cannot do on their own. There's no easy link or website to go to figure it out by yourself. I, along with my team of experts, including our court-appointed officer with parliamentary powers, can implement the legislation for them if they qualify to eliminate and forgive the debts, because we've been doing it successfully for over 23 years now.
Well, one last question for you, Debbie. Since these are government programs, will it take a long time to process the file for your client?
Absolutely not, Maxim. What you need to understand is we are on a rescue mission, and when people are failing with debt and stressed with debt, they need emergency services. We are able to process a file and trigger protection from creditors in a matter of days, and in extreme cases, we've been able to do it in a matter of hours. What's essential to understand here that most people don't recognize is when you have a financial problem, you actually have a legal problem. So when you stop paying and the company sends your debts to creditors to collection agencies, that becomes a legal problem, because eventually they will take you to court to get their money. Mm-hmm. And the funny part is, in this country, if you get hit by a car, you will go to a lawyer for help. If you get cut off of your disability payments at work, you will go to a lawyer for help. But when you're in financial trouble, you end up going to an insolvency trustee who's actually like the prosecutor. It's like needing a lawyer, but instead you're going to the prosecutor for help. So I think the legal profession has abandoned Canadians on this, because the legal profession should be advertising, should be promoting, this is a legal problem. Financial problems are legal problems. You need to come to us. But the legal profession has forsaken Canadians in this respect, and I simply don't know why.
Yeah, it's a big mystery.
It's a big mystery.
Well, this has been very informative indeed, Debbie. Thank you very much. I am pleased to be a part of any awareness campaign that I'm sure will help my Russian community and any others in Canada. Thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you very much, Maxim, for helping me to raise that awareness. I look forward to helping out many, many people in the Russian community.